What if I told you that missing Palantir's meteoric rise wasn't actually a failure? It was a lesson. And that lesson is about to pay off in ways you never imagined. Because right now in 2025, there are three companies quietly positioning themselves to replicate that same explosive growth pattern. And you're early. Stick with me for the next 15 minutes, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which stocks could turn a modest investment today into life-changing wealth tomorrow. Let me take you back to 2020. Palantir goes public at around $20 per share. Most people ignored it. Too complicated, they said. Too niche. Government contracts? Boring. Fast forward to today, and those same skeptics are watching in disbelief as Palantir trades at heights that turned early believers into millionaires. The pattern was there. The signs were screaming. But most people? They hesitated. They waited for confirmation. And by the time CNBC was talking about it, the easy money was already made. Here's what nobody tells you about wealth. It's not built by chasing what everyone already knows. It's built by recognizing patterns before they become obvious. And right now, the same pattern that made Palantir unstoppable is playing out again. Three companies, three different sectors. One common thread: they're all at that critical inflection point where everything is about to change. Now, I know what you're thinking. Another YouTuber promising me the next big thing, right? But here's the difference. We're not guessing. We're following data. We're tracking institutional money flow. We're looking at the same signals that the smart money sees before the crowd catches on. And what we've found is borderline unfair for anyone paying attention. Let me start with something that might surprise you. The first company isn't in artificial intelligence. It's not in quantum computing. It's in something far more fundamental, something every single AI company desperately needs, but nobody's talking about. I'm talking about energy infrastructure. Specifically, I'm talking about the companies powering the data centers that run the AI revolution. Think about it. ChatGPT doesn't run on hopes and dreams. It runs on massive server farms consuming unbelievable amounts of electricity. Every AI model that gets trained, every generative AI application that scales, they all need power. Enormous, consistent, reliable power. And right now, our electrical grid is maxed out. We're talking about a supply and demand imbalance that's about to create a gold rush. The company I'm watching, and I'll give you the name in just a moment, has locked in contracts with three of the five largest tech companies in America. They're not just supplying energy, they're building the next generation infrastructure that makes AI scalability possible. Their revenue growth over the last 4 quarters? 143%. Year over year, and Wall Street is just starting to notice. But here's where it gets interesting. Their market cap is still under $15 billion. For context, Palantir hit $15 billion before it really took off. This company is trading at the same relative valuation Palantir had in early 2021. Same pattern, same opportunity, different sector. Now, before I reveal the name, let me hit you with something wild. Do you know what the average person does when they discover a stock like this? They bookmark the video. They tell themselves they'll research it later. They wait for the perfect entry point. And then 6 months later, they're watching it climb without them, wondering why they always miss out. Don't be that person. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The company is Vistra Energy, ticker symbol VST. Now, I'm not your financial advisor, and this isn't financial advice. Do your own research. But look at what's happening here. They're expanding into natural gas and nuclear to support AI data center demand. They've got utility-scale solar projects coming online, and their debt-to-equity ratio just hit the lowest it's been in 5 years, meaning they're financially sound while expanding aggressively. That's rare. That's powerful. That's the pattern. Okay, quick pattern interrupt here. If someone told you 5 years ago that the energy sector would be the play for tech-driven millionaires, you probably would have laughed and kept scrolling TikTok. But here we are. Sometimes the most boring-sounding sectors hide the most explosive opportunities. And that's exactly what's happening with our second company. This one's different. This one's playing a game so sophisticated that even seasoned investors are underestimating it. I'm talking about a company in the defense technology space, but not the defense you're imagining. Forget tanks and missiles. This is cyber warfare, autonomous defense systems, space-based infrastructure protection. The stuff that governments don't talk about publicly, but are spending billions on behind closed doors. The company is Anduril Industries. Wait, actually, scratch that. Anduril's still private, but there's a publicly traded company that's positioning itself in the exact same space with even better margins. I'm talking about Palantir's smaller, scrappier competitor that's flying completely under the radar. I'm talking about BigBear.ai, ticker BBAI. Now, I know some of you just rolled your eyes. You've heard of Big Bear. Maybe you even looked at it last year when it was struggling. But here's what changed. In the last 6 months, they've pivoted hard into decision-making AI for defense and intelligence. They're not just analyzing data anymore. They're predicting threats before they happen. And their client list? Department of Defense, CIA, NSA. The contracts they're winning are classified, which means Wall Street can't even properly price in their growth yet. Their stock is trading at under $4 for a company with government contracts that practically guarantee revenue for the next decade. You know what Palantir was trading at in its early government contract phase? Around the same price. History doesn't repeat, but it sure does rhyme. Here's the kicker. Big Bear just announced a partnership with a major cloud provider to integrate their AI into federal cloud infrastructure. That's not a small deal. That's a moat-building, competition-crushing deal. And the stock barely moved because nobody's paying attention yet, but they will. And when they do, getting in at $3 or $4 is going to look like the opportunity of the decade. Now let's talk about the third company. And this one's my favorite because it's the most misunderstood. Everyone thinks they know what this company does. They see the name and think, oh, that's just a software company. But what they're actually building is the operating system for the next industrial revolution. I'm talking about Snowflake, ticker SNOW. And before you say, everyone knows about Snowflake, hear me out. Yes, it's been public since 2020. Yes, it had a massive IPO. But here's what most people missed. Snowflake spent the last 4 years building infrastructure, the boring stuff, the unglamorous foundation work. And now? Now they're about to flip the switch on revenue streams that most analysts aren't even modeling yet. They're moving into AI native data management. Every company trying to build or integrate AI needs clean, organized, accessible data. Snowflake owns that pipeline. And with AI adoption accelerating faster than any technology in human history, Snowflake is positioned at the center of a trillion-dollar shift. But here's the part that makes this a Palantir-level opportunity. Snowflake is still priced like a growth company in its early scaling phase. It's down significantly from its all-time highs, which means the risk-reward ratio is asymmetric in your favor. Palantir went through the exact same pattern. Initial hype, brutal drawdown, quiet building phase, then explosive revaluation when the market finally understood what they built. Snowflake is in that quiet building phase right now. The market's distracted. You're not. Let me connect the dots for you. Vestra Energy powers the infrastructure. BigBear.ai secures it and makes it intelligent. Snowflake organizes the data that runs through it. These aren't random picks. This is a thesis. This is understanding that the AI revolution isn't just about chatbots and image generators. It's about infrastructure, security, and data. The 3 pillars that nobody's talking about, but everyone's going to need. And here's the thing about getting in early on infrastructure plays. You don't need the stock to 10x overnight. You just need to be positioned before institutional money floods in, before the ETFs rebalance, before Kramer starts yelling about it on Mad Money. Because once that happens, your entry point is gone forever. Now, I'm going to be real with you. Some of you are still sitting there thinking, okay, cool story, but what if I'm wrong? What if these stocks don't take off? And that's fair. That's smart, actually. But let me ask you this. What's the cost of being wrong versus the cost of missing out? If you put a small position into these 3 companies and they go nowhere, you've lost what? A few percentage points. But if even one of them follows Palantir's trajectory, you've potentially changed your financial life. The risk isn't in the stocks. The risk is in doing nothing. The risk is watching from the sidelines while another generation of wealth gets created without you. And I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to wake you up. Because the people who build real wealth aren't the smartest or the luckiest. They're the ones who act when they see an opportunity. You know what separates the people driving Teslas at 25 from the people still complaining about rent at 35? Decisiveness. The willingness to make a move when the information is good enough, even if it's not perfect. And right now, the information is screaming, here's your action plan. Do your research on these three companies. Look at their earnings reports. Check their institutional ownership. Watch their quarterly guidance. And if everything aligns with what I've laid out here, consider taking a position. Start small if you need to, but start. Because here's the truth nobody wants to admit. Opportunities like this don't wait for you to feel ready. They don't pause while you finish binge watching Netflix or scroll through Instagram one more time. They move, and they move fast. Vistra Energy, BigBear.ai.Snowflake. Three companies, three sectors, one massive wave, and you're here before the crowd. Now, if you're serious about building wealth in 2025, you can't stop here. Because while these three stocks are incredible medium to long-term plays, there's something even more explosive happening right now in the penny stock space. I'm talking about a 22-cent stock that could genuinely 10x before most people even hear about it. I broke down everything you need to know in my latest video, the research, the catalysts, the exact entry strategy. It's linked on your screen right now. Don't sleep on this. Click through, watch it, and let's keep building your portfolio together. This is your moment. Let's make it count.